Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to Whispers from the Phylactery, where we talk tabletop role-playing game design and philosophy to inspire your next session. If you need advice, or just to feel like someone's sitting there with you while you're riffing on content. Today I want to talk about something that affects almost anyone who's ever tried to run a campaign. Why do so many campaigns fizzle out before the end? And if you've ever started a grand epic with your friends only to have it stall out halfway or fade away after 3 sessions, you're definitely not alone. So let's talk about why this happens and how you can actually finish your campaigns without burning out or losing momentum. Of course, I can't guarantee it, but here are some tips and tricks that should help. Number 1, the statistic. First off, is it really true that most campaigns don't finish? I mean, there's no official statistics, but the tabletop role-playing game community, especially online, widely acknowledges that most campaigns never reach their intended conclusion. I mean, you'll always find people saying, yeah, it was great, but if you go through Reddit or Facebook groups or just down to your local hobby shop, then you're going to hear no end of stories of like, yeah, we never quite got there. We got to level 10 that we petered off, or we got to level 15, but we never really took out the bad guy. So everything kind of points to one clear reality, is that finishing a long-term campaign is rare. And that leads to a lot of game runners feeling disappointed, thinking that it's their fault. But it's not about skill or dedication alone. It's about understanding the pitfalls that make campaigns collapse. So we're going to look at a few of those. Number 1, let's start with the biggest reason, overambition. This is especially a problem for newer game runners, but it happens to veteran game runners too, is you have a grand idea. You launch this campaign with world-shattering stakes, complex homebrew settings, and plans for a 3-year-long epic saga. And then, well, here's the truth. The longer and more complex your intended campaign, the harder it is to sustain. Life changes, schedules shift, and enthusiasm wanes over time. I'm really bad on this one because I hyperfixate, and I'm like, yeah, this idea is going to be great. It's going to be, the player's going to love it. And then 3 months later, I'm like, oh, why did I commit to this? A story that has to last years because of the pressures you put on yourself for it. Like, I told everyone it's going to be like a 3-year game, that we're going to stop the shattering of the world, that we're going to be fighting ancient gods. It becomes an uphill battle on this pedestal that you've made for yourself. So as you run more games, you start to learn that short arcs are a great starting point. Adventures that can be resolved in 4 to 6 sessions, but can be strung together into a longer journey. If the group wants to keep growing, if the group wants to keep going, then it leads naturally into the next one with a little bit of GM work. The second reason a lot of campaigns fail is when players aren't invested into the game premise or each other. If characters are disconnected from the story, or players don't care about the party's goals or the other character's goals, sessions can feel hollow. They just aren't great, and attention starts to falter. Skipped sessions become more common if people would rather do other activities. Like they'd rather do things other than be at the gaming table, and the group starts to drift apart. So this is why session 0 is so essential to me. Taking the time to align expectations about the campaign style, to connect character goals to the plot, and build party bonds makes finishing a campaign much more likely. And it also sort of cements, is everybody committed to the same time frame? Does everyone want to meet once a week, once a month? If 3 of the players are like, yeah, we'd like to meet every week, and one of the players is like, I don't know, I just kind of want to show up and like talk with my buddies and have a beer, then that's a mix mash of interest. like, even if they're your friend, and you like, yeah, we should totally hang out, but right now we're playing our game. We came here to play our game, and if you're not like focused on that or have the same level of desire to, they're going to be causing distractions at the table and just not clued in. So it can be sucked to be like, yeah, well, like, what if we do a board game night on another week, or like every 3 weeks we do a board game night. You come, we hang out, and then the other players that are to do the campaign. It's not great, but I think it's better to have everyone on the same page. That's what Session Zero does. Everyone's on the same page for what's going to be in the game, what content isn't going to be allowed, what characters there are, and how they're doing. I know there's that thing online on Pinterest or Facebook or Reddit somewhere. It's probably on TikTok now, where it goes over like the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit from like a role-playing game table perspective, where like, yeah, this guy thinks up, he's like, I'm gonna be a halfling thief, and it's like, I'm not quite sure I'm gonna fit into the story. Why don't, Mr. GM, how do you want to do it? Because they're coming into the game a little bit late. They missed Session Zero, but the rest of the players all got together and were like, yeah, we want to do like an epic dwarven adventure to reclaim our lost homeland. We're all going to be dwarves, with different classes, and this is how we know each other and what brings us together as a party. And then, well, now we have the odd halfling out, and the storyteller needs to be like, all right, well, here's my wizard NPC, and we're just going to do this opening scene, and like, you guys all show up because you need a thief to steal from the dragon. So you're going to hire thief. Ta-da! Thief. Player over here, Bob. We're just going to call him Bob. And they get shunted onto the party. But it's not really the game that they wanted to run, so they want to do sneaky stuff. They want to be crawling through the caves. And now the GM has to split the party more often, and it's like, yeah, so the party is dealing with the goblin mines, and battling their way through and escaping, as the thief character's like, oh, well, I slipped down this side tunnel, and do I find anything to steal? So the storyteller tosses in a random NPC, the little gremlin guy, who talks like, it's precious. It goes from there. There's a whole long blog post, but I highly recommend trying to find it. If I can find it, I'll link it. That's just what I mean. Everybody on the same page. Yeah. Part of this is I don't like games that are thematically all over the place. I like games that share like a core theme or thematic. It's a little weird. Like, I like the idea of like, we're all dwarves. We're all going on this adventure. We have a goal, instead of like, I'm a dwarf, I'm an elf, I'm a goblin. What is the goblin like to do? I like to burn stuff. I'm like, why are you here? What's this connection? Why are you at this party trying to save the world? And it's like, I'm an ooze elemental. Like, why are you here? Like, I know players want to play their fun things, but cohesion, party cohesion. That's my thing. That's my pet gripe. Sorry, back to it. Another reason campaigns can fall and stop working is GM burnout. Planning every detail, writing expansive lore, prepping maps and NPCs every week. It's exhausting, especially if you're new and you don't know all of the little shortcuts or tricks. Like, you haven't discovered a way to do your shorthand that works for you, or like, well, I only really need these numbers in mind when I'm running a monster. I need their HP, I need their AC, I need their saves. Everything else I can kind of fluff. I know the attack bonus should be around here. I know their damage should be around here. And then, in that example, when I do that, I jot it down the first time I make it. That way it doesn't change through the encounter. But I know a level. This isn't for iconic fights. This is for smaller fights. I know what the level range of damage is, what the level range of attack bonus is, what their AC should be, what their HP should roughly be. Because I've been running for 15 years. I've been playing second edition Pathfinder for 3.5 years. It's things that you pick up. So a lot of new players or overambitious GMs, sorry, not players, GMs, they try to build the entire world before session 1, before the campaign even starts. And then by the time they get there, they're already feeling overwhelmed by all of this stuff. And if that's your bag and it doesn't overwhelm you, great. Do that. Write it all down. Make a campaign setting a holy Bible grail of like, this is the lore. But if that's not you, you don't have to have it ready. To fix it, prep only what you need for the next session or the next couple sessions as part of the current arc. Focus on story beats, not encyclopedic detail. Blah, 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 blah. Your players will care more about the scenes they interact with than the history of 30 unvisited kingdoms. Like, yes, for the past 1,000 years, the King Archibald has da-da-da-da-da, his descendants da-da-da. Does it impact the story? Does it change what the party needs to do? A lot of the time, players aren't going to care. I appreciate it when I'm running, but I don't. It's like, yeah, that's nice, but I'm not going to hunt down the lore. Sorry. I mean, there's no harm in having it. It can be really interesting. And for some game runners, that's what motivates. And that's great. But what I'm trying to get to is that it shouldn't be necessary. And you shouldn't think that it's necessary. If you have players that want it, great. You can write a little bit more. Otherwise, if you want more information on how to sort of do shorter character arcs, or character arcs, well, shorter character arcs do fit too. If you want information on shorter story arcs, you can check out my video over here, I think, that feature less prep. It's the 5-room dungeon, and through it we go over how to make a basic outline of what to do for a session or two. That kind of wraps everything up in a nice bow. It's what I like to do. I break levels down into like bands, and then I do a dungeon or two, and that fills that band. Like level 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, so on and so on. But moving back on, instead of tangenting off that way, I'm being bad with tangents this morning. The reality of scheduling. Sometimes campaigns end simply because life happens. People change jobs, move cities, have kids, or burn out on gaming entirely. Even the best planned campaign can end suddenly. Sometimes people pass away. And it sucks. And there's campaigns that you want to finish, and they don't happen. But it helps to have campaigns that can break down into, onto the actual tip, that break down into shorter, satisfying arcs. That way, if the game ends unexpectedly, it feels more like a complete story rather than a half-finished beginning. This isn't the case for everything, of course, if you don't have time to finish the story arc. But if you do, and you know, like, my schedule's changing in a month, I'm not going to be able to do Sundays anymore, sorry guys, then you can be like, alright, well, we're going to wrap up our current arc, and then we'll leave a pin in it for if we can come back to it later. Or if you can't, just ship the day. Like, the demon general's been defeated, and then the storyteller just like, well, no, he was the mastermind. He doesn't have a boss somewhere else that you had to go fight. It was just the demon general. It changes the story, but if the players are only receiving that story in chunks, then to them it's they beat the demon general. They have saved their town, their homeland. I don't know. That's just a tip I have. And then reason number 5 why campaigns can burn out or just end prematurely is fear of improvisation. New game runners and storytellers can often get stuck when the party goes off the rails, especially away from prepared content. If you're like, I bought this adventure, it's our first adventure. I have the module Curse of Strahd. Sure. Da 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 da. Oh yes, the players break off into the wilderness outside of Barovia, and they start circling up around, and they scale Strahd's castle from below, and da 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 da. When you plan too rigidly along the train tracks, and the party jumps off the train, it can be a problem. The more rigidly you're trying to keep the train going, the harder it is to improvise. And I admit that this happens to me too. It happens less often now, because I generally try and keep things very vague and flowy with my planning. But usually if like the party pushes through what I already have prepared, then I'm like, shoot, what am I going to do? What am I going to throw at you? I didn't expect you to get through this. Fear of improvising, English is my language, leads to panic or stalling out. Sessions can get cancelled until I prep more. But that prep never really finishes, and the campaign can die, giving off its feeble final throes. So, what I'm trying to do is experienced game runners, storytellers, build confidence in their improvisation skills. They get more comfortable using player decisions as the story engine instead of fighting them. This is not saying say yes to everything. Don't do that. Okay, I don't do that. I'm not saying you should. You should do whatever works for you. If you follow what the players are wanting to do, the session keeps moving forward and momentum carries the campaign forward. What you need to know most, and this is generally what I mark down when I'm thinking about a story, is who the villain is, what are their goals, either one goal, a couple goals, and then how are they achieving those goals? What are the consequences of those goals? Or what are the consequences of the actions to take those goals? And as long as you keep those things at the forefront of your brain, then improvisation gets easier when the players go off the rails. So instead of saying like, trying to think of a rigid story here. There's a cult leader in a city. The players are going to arrive. They're going to stop at the tavern. They are going to see some of their thugs beating up the tavern keeper for money. They're going to follow the thugs, gain more information, and then they're going to go take down the cult leader. What I'll do is, who's the bad guy? The cult leader. What's his goal? He wants to sacrifice the innocence of this city to his dark god to obtain power, the typical spiel. How's he doing this? He is extorting local shopkeepers for protection money. He is kidnapping the people that live on the street or the downtrodden of society to use as sacrifices because he doesn't want to touch the more prominent members or people that'll be more easily missed. And he is gathering rare materials through aliases at the city's alchemy magic shops. 3 things to achieve his goal. Now when the party enters, I have those noted down. Wherever they want to go, I can toss a hook out there. If they go to the magic shop looking for something, like, oh, sorry, it's been bought out. They go to the next one. It's been bought out. Who's buying all this stuff out? What's going on? It's the same person. Why do they need so much stuff? If they go to the tavern, they get the shakedown. Or they see the shakedown. They don't get shaken down. They're adventurers. People don't want to mess with guys with big pointy sticks. Too much. It's what makes the story happen. Or if they're going through the streets, if they need to go to the slums for some reason, people are skittish. They stay off the streets more. They band together more. And players might be like, well, why is this happening? And now you have 3 avenues to direct the party onto your train track. The train track arrives to the town and then it breaks off. The players can go wherever they want, but it's all on the tracks and it goes back into the story. Players don't like train track. Like, it's a sandbox, but it's a limited sandbox. Here are the toys I want you to play with. You are not allowed to go play over there with whatever the hell you want. And then part of this is player buy-in. Session 0. Everyone should want to tell the same story. If you don't want to tell the same story, you just want to fuck around. Sorry. You just want to mess around and do whatever. Why are you here playing this with the group? If you want to do that, go play a video game. Play Skyrim. Play Oblivion. Play any MMO where you can do your own thing. If you want to burn the village down and be a dink, play Fable. Or play Tyrant. Or, no, Tyranny. Tyranny, great game. You get to be the bad guy. But I don't want to say railroad. The party should want to be part of the story that you're telling with them. Yes. That didn't come out super well. But I'm hoping people get the point. The players should want to take part in the story that you are providing. And that makes improvisation easier. So, how to actually finish a campaign and what can we do to beat the odds? Here's a few quick tips. Plan in short arcs. I plan in like 3 level arcs. I have a rough idea what's going to happen later. Like, I sketch out the entire campaign very roughly, but I go into detail on 3 levels at a time, roughly. Run a session 0. Yes, do it. I'll make sure everyone wants to tell the same story, that the schedules all work together, that everyone has the same level of interest, and it helps connect players together and to the plot. Less burnout. Prep minimally and flex maximally. Going back to the previous one, know your beats, know your story beats, what you want to have happen. Do you want to have a particular scene happen? Do that, great. Know the stakes. What does the bad guy want? What'll happen if he gets it? Improvise the rest. For combats, I keep a list of common enemy stat blocks that I can either reflavor on the fly if I want to, or I just make my own off the top of my head. This is for most stat. This is not for boss fights or cinematic fights. Those I have planned out. But if it's like, yeah, the thugs, they're human warriors. They're level 4. They got plus 10 to hit. They do a d8 plus 2 damage. And their AC's, I don't know, 16. They're basic. They have 30 hit points. Be free, my little mooks. You will die with not honor, but you will die. And the party will get XP and loot for you. Next tip. Check in with your players regularly. I do this at the end of every session. I ask what they're enjoying about the game, what they want more of, and I try and adjust accordingly. Or I encourage people to let me know what they don't like if they want to do that in private. They can just shoot me a message and be like, yeah, I'm not liking this part. So then we adjust the campaign. And I think a big thing on how to avoid a campaign ending horribly is don't fear the ending. Ending a campaign gracefully is far better than letting it drift off unfinished. If you know that it's going to end, you don't have time, give it a send-off. Don't just let it go into the night with a whimper. So, finishing a campaign isn't about perfection. It's about shared story moments that feel satisfying for you and your group. I mean, every session that brings joy is worth it, even if the campaign ends earlier than planned. I know when I'm playing, I prefer to end on a solid foundation than drag on. Like, if it ends on a good note, great, it was a fun game. What are we going to play next? Let's plan it out. Just like a TV show. If it ends early, um, great, it had a wrap up. But if they drag it back out for another season, usually the season sucks, and it's like, man, this isn't what we were playing before. Like, and it drags out longer and longer as they try to milk it. It's better to end things gracefully. So if you want to beat the odds, keep it achievable. Collaborate with your players and make sure that you're doing things intentionally. So thanks for spending time with me today. If you'd like a follow-up video on how to plan short campaigns that still feel pretty epic, let me know in the comments. And if you want more information on the 5-room dungeon method to help create smaller encapsulated story beats, then check out or the link below. So if you could, I'd appreciate a like, subscribe, and yeah, hit the bell if you want to. Get notifications. It lets me know what you guys want to watch and what you're liking, and I can make more content geared towards that. So until next time, may your dice roll true, your players stay engaged, and your stories always find an ending that feels worth remembering. So long, adventurers.